Match coverage of the Champions League semi-final between Manchester City and Real Madrid. 4-3, the final score in that first leg. What a first leg it was. Kate Abdo, Thierry Henry, Jamie Carragher, Micah Richards. As a neutral, could you sit back and just enjoy that game of football?
Yeah, I could.
Nice.
It was a good game.
Good
it was
for
a good game. I saw a lot of mistakes. I saw a lot of great things. All I saw also is that if they had at least Vinicius Junior, Man City, or Benzema, that tie would have been all over by now. But they don't have them.
They don't have a finisher like that, like those two.
Yes, they created so many chances that we mentioned at the beginning. If they had a guy like Benzema, obviously, a lot of teams would have finished that. But what they create, Man City, and what they created tonight, if they had one of the two, especially Benzema, that would have been done and dusted. But he plays for Madrid, unfortunately for them.
Kicking themselves. Man City played so good going forward, created so many chances. Won the game, but going into that change room afterwards, thinking we should at least have a 2-goal lead going into Bernabeu. This game next week is going to be so entertaining, I can't even imagine. Do
you think it'll affect Man City psychologically? Not just Man City, but actually Real Madrid, even though Man City have won. Do you think that feeling of this should be over and Real Madrid thinking, I can't believe we're still alive?
But look what
do you think that'll sort of help Real Madrid in the second leg?
You should see Real Madrid, they was happy with that result. You see what they did with PSG coming back, Benzema playing so well, and then they do the same with Chelsea. They'll be going to that game with so much confidence, think, we can win this. We can score 2-3 goals at home. And it's, it could go either way. It really could.
I can't believe Real Madrid. I mean, I've watched them throughout this tournament and never thought they were anything. And they've done special things, and even tonight. And I keep thinking the only way they can beat Man City is by being Real Madrid. It's the name. There's something about it. And it's been proven right again in that first leg. They were so poor. I mean, defensively, it was one of the worst performances I've seen in the Champions League this season, including group stages. And I'm talking in terms of some of the worst teams we've seen in the competition. It was so bad from minute 1 to 90 defensively. And how they got out of there with 1 goal just behind and they're still alive, it's unbelievable.
Well, imagine if we enjoyed that here in the studio in London. Imagine what it must have felt like at the Etihad. Let's take you over to our two teams who are over there at the ground. So we've got Peter and Jules and Jim and Peter. Jules, let me come to you guys first. I'm just fascinated to think how fun that was for you guys on as close as you were to watch that action.
It was absolutely amazing. It was one of those games, wasn't it, Peter? We just kept looking at each other every time a team attacked, going, what's going on here? It was a game that had absolutely everything.
Well, it's difficult to find the words to describe this game. I don't think I've ever seen a Champions League game where one team was that dominant and didn't win 6-0.
Yeah.
I honestly cannot believe this result. Real Madrid, their defending was awful. I mean, just awful. How they got away with this, I do not know. But they've got these quality front players, and they turn up time and time again. And they've given Real Madrid a lifeline. And of course, this game is so open now. I can't wait for next week.
I know, it's absolutely unbelievable. We were watching it, as you mentioned, Kate, just a few rows back. We were fairly close to the pitch, but I know, Peter, you had an incredible bird's eye view of that. It must have looked amazing from where where you were, because we could hear your commentary. It was amazing.
Well, Jules, it was a treat. It was one of the great one-off semi-finals, surely, of the Champions League era. We all love goals, and of course, the great footballers who we have around us who interpret the game for us are right to point out that there were many, many mistakes in it, Jim. But from the point of view of entertainment, who cares? I mean, that's great. Let me be a party pooper, if I may, probably wrongly, but it seemed to me that Casemiro was a big miss for Real Madrid. If he's back next week, they won't be that open again, will they?
Well, considering he was on the bench tonight and didn't participate, I thought there would have been some sort of defensive structure in place or a defensive mechanism to try and cope with what they know Manchester City were going to bring to them. And that wasn't there. And they looked shambolic at times, Real Madrid. I mean, I think I said at one stage that they were terrible and terrific in different parts of the game. They're going to have to sort that out. They really are, because Manchester City, it doesn't matter whether it's away from home or at home, they get on with it. And I just go back to what Jamie was saying as well about Real Madrid and that feeling that they're invincible, that they can go through anything. I think they'll be feeling great about that now.
I think that's so right, Jamie, Jim, and you said it as well, Kate. The name that is Real Madrid, it is so seductive, and it kind of works. There's something that keeps them alive. It's a magic club, but they've got to come from behind now.
Yeah, it's going to be a fascinating second leg. Thank you very much, gents. Appreciate you. Peter and Jules, we're going to let you guys go as well and hopefully pick up some interviews for us. But thank you all 4 of you. Fantastic work tonight so far. OK, well, let's talk about this for a minute then, because obviously there's a few different talking points out what the guys said there. Casemiro, would that be the difference maker in the second leg, do you think, Jamie?
Real Madrid cannot be any worse defensively. It's impossible, even if Casemiro doesn't play. But he has been one of the best players in world football in that position for so many years, hence why he's won so many Champions Leagues himself. But that will make a huge difference, there's no doubt about that. But the centre-backs for Real Madrid were so poor tonight. You can talk about protection, but they still made some unbelievable, actually, decisions that they made. But I reiterate what I said before, what Jim's just mentioned there. I think for Real Madrid, it feels like a win. Yeah. The fact that they're still alive, I think even though they're pressed, the build-up, the game in between, they'll rest everyone because I think they've got the league sewn up. And that now is going to be such a difficult game for Man City when it should really be over. And Man City, in some ways, should have been looking at that second leg, actually resting players. That's how easy it was.
You talk about Casemiro, and in Man City, you know, they've got Stones right back. Did OK. Left back Zinchenko, but they're not the full-backs. Don't forget they're missing Kyle Walker and they're missing Cancelo, which hopefully they'll be back for next week's tie. So I think it'd be a different game. We talked beforehand about the defensive. When I looked at that Man City defence that was starting, it didn't fill me with confidence. And we're seeing that tonight. Fernandinho come on the game after Stones gets injured, does so well for the cross for the goal for Foden. But then defensively, he's diving in, gets another yellow card, and he can't do nothing for the rest of the game. So, yeah, they're going to have to sort that out next week if they want to go through this tie.
So 7 goals in total in this first leg. Let's pick our way through them in order, of course. Kevin De Bruyne.
Well, yes, I'll start with...
Only took 94 seconds,
I'll start
Micah.
with Kevin De Bruyne.
It was an eventful night sitting next to Micah Richards in this studio. Just take a listen to his reaction to the first goal.
Oh, wow. I'm in insurance! Have you got insurance? Yes! Kevin!
The pastor jumped.
But listen, this has to be analysed. When you talk about some of the technicians we had on show today, Kroos, Modric, Kevin De Bruyne, Silva, no one produced a better first touch and control of a situation than Micah Richards with the pass there.
What's this here?
Look at this. He thinks he's lost it, miscontrolled it, and look at this. Look at this. Forget your Luka Modric, we've got Micah. Big Meeks is back.
Big Lick's just got...
I don't know how we carry on from there. Take a look at the second goal. Gabriel Jesus then. But then, Karim Benzema pulled one back for Real Madrid and you realised that we were going to have a game, Thierry.
Even before that, because Real Madrid went back being on the ball and being a tiny bit more dominant and played way higher. But you have to mention what Modric is doing here, because he will get that ball back. This is why I think he's one of the best midfielders for a long time in Europe. And then the cross of Mendy wasn't the best, and that goal is just because it is Benzema. Benzema made that cross a good cross. Look at how he comes across. He doesn't try to hit the ball too hard. He just tries to guide it. And obviously, he got a tiny bit lucky because the ball goes in between the legs of Zinchenko. But what a finish. Benzema happened on that one.
We talked about the fact that there were so many opportunities for City to really put this game out of reach. There was a couple of great opportunities in the first half from Mahrez and Foden. Micah, walk us through those.
Yeah, when we talk about the kicking himself, these are the chances that you just think, Mahrez there, if you take it there, you have to score. You know, when you're in that position, if you don't, you've got to pass otherwise. He could even have took a touch, and even Foden goes through here. His touch evades him a little bit, just takes him wide, and he sort of dragged the shot. But yeah, they have to take them chances. They'll be ruining that tonight.
And then that continued as well, because right at the start of the second half, Mahrez hits the post.
It does, and again, this situation that happened, it just felt so... Look at the Madrid centre-back. They've made a change at half-time. Nacho comes on. Militao misses it. And they just really well. He's unfortunate, really, Mahrez. But actually, probably the bigger chances than Foden coming in. There's no goalkeeper in the goal. You see Mahrez, he wins the challenge. We mentioned before, he missed the challenge for the Real Madrid goal on Modric. You know, he's a little bit unfortunate, but it's the one from Foden that's the real big one when the goalkeeper's out and it's just a player to beat on the line.
Thierry, would you have took a touch there with when Foden or not?
You know what it is? I was just about to say that he should score, obviously. If he does hit it, he will score, actually. He takes it too well. The problem that you have is when we see it, it looks like it's an easy one. Because we don't have the same. When the ball hits the post and you think it's going to be a goal, by the time it comes back to you, the only thing you do is you react.
Yeah, it is true.
And yes, seeing it, you're like, oh, maybe I could have taken a touch. Yeah. But at the moment that it happens, it's quicker than what it seems when you see it on TV.
So didn't manage to put that one away, did put the next opportunity away, though, Phil Foden.
Well, he did, and we were raving about what Fernandinho did because one is battle, 1-2, and what a cross. It puts the ball on the head of Foden, and then it's a goal. I mean, we were just like raving about it, and wow, Fernandinho at his age, maybe he got another year there, but having that cross. But
I mean, sorry, Thierry. Yeah, finish off. Carry on.
No. Just saying. Just saying that was a great cross, and Foden went on to score.
I mean, if we could just get that angle again, the wide one. Apologies, but this sums up Real Madrid. Watching Carragher at right back. Mm-hmm. Just watch Carragher right back when the ball gets given away. Look, he throws his hands up and look at him throw it and just starts walking back. That sums them up. And then he sprints back. Because he does that, oh, God, he's given the ball away. He doesn't run back initially and have that sort of defensive mentality that they never had all night. That's why they conceded so many goals and so many chances in the game. There was I mean, I keep saying how poor they were, but that was just an illustration again of one of the reasons why they were so open.
And you expected Vinicius Junior to be a danger man on the night, and he did turn out to be that for Real Madrid.
I think it was me who expected
well,
that.
Yeah, you can take us through that,
I just, you know, it was my analysis before the game. We thought he'd be a problem for Manchester City at right back. He does Fernandinho, we've just done him on the goal before. But to pick the ball up from there and be able to run into the 6-yard box is absolutely criminal from Manchester City. It really is. You see where he is there on the halfway line. He does a trick on Fernandinho. We've all been done, even the quickest of the defenders have been done. But look, he's going to run from there now, and this line is going to show he's not going to be challenged till he gets there. That is unacceptable for Manchester City. I know there's space to run into, but Laporte has got to come across. You know he's a quick player. Diaz is not going to get back. Rodri's not going to get back. Laporte has got to make that decision earlier as a centre-back to get across and stop that.
You know who was to tell him that at that particular moment is Zinchenko. Because at the very beginning, he cannot leave his position because Benzema is there. But at one point, Zinchenko has to tell him, you can go. Yeah. Because he's looking at the ball. He doesn't have the time to do this because he doesn't know if Benzema is going to go there or there. He controlled it. But Zinchenko had to release him, but he had to go.
What you don't want to do as a centre-back there is actually get caught in the middle where you end up going.
He does well there, Jamie.
So if he goes now, then he thinks...
Zinchenko has to tell him you can go. He doesn't tell him anything.
And as I say, as a centre-back, you don't want to get caught in the middle where you go and you get halfway and he crosses it to Benzema. So initially now you're thinking, OK, can the lads get back and get him? No. OK, he takes a touch. Now I've got to fly across. I've got to fly across now. You can't let someone get that close to the goal. And when you see where he's picked it up, you can't believe where he ends up.
Communication is key.
In life, in relationships, in football, in everything, Thierry.
Get it.
Wow. You taking it there?
Philosophy.
Shall we have a convo?
Let's take a look at Bernardo Silva's goal. 4-2, this one made.
Oh, this was brilliant. But not only by the goal, the referee, when he gets fouled just on the edge of the box here, Zinchenko. And the referee has got the whistle to his mouth. He allows play to go on. Might see it a little bit better from this angle. Just look at the referee there. He thinks he's going to blow. No, he doesn't. Play goes on. And it's an exquisite finish. It really is into that.
But Camavinga here stops. Carragher does again exactly what you said. He waves his arm in the air, thinking like it's not a foul or whatever. Just play because it's a tough one. And then we had a discussion, can Thibaut Courtois save it? And I think Carragher was used as like I like to say, a shield, and so he couldn't see the ball. But it is a great finish from Silva. But they stopped. You have to play until the ref blow the whistle. That's the first rule in football.
pearls of wisdom from Thierry Henry tonight, isn't it? I'm just enjoying it.
Thank you. I'll take it.
You mentioned the referee earlier on, Micah. Let's bring in our very own referee, Christina Uncle, who we always have with us on the show. And
I'm going to challenge her today. I'm going to challenge her that.
You just praised her. Oh, hang on.
She's brilliant. I said I'm going to challenge the decision.
Listen, let's not forget, if Bernardo Silva hits that over the bar, he's going mad that they haven't given the free kick.
It's not often that we have a group of former players, Christina, praising the performance of a referee on a particular play. Why did he get that so right? And what did you think of that situation?
Yeah, words of Thierry Henry, words of wisdom, right? So this is refereeing, beautiful art, officiating. Peter and Jim just really hit it on the head when they're commentating, right? Where we as officials, there is a difference between a top official and an elite official, is those who know how to properly see, feel the context of the game to allow it to flow and to breathe beautifully here. So by Kovacs holding his whistle and allowing that advantage, which is a risky one, but to materialize, has allowed us to enjoy even much more of a beautiful game as it is. So this is appropriate by referee Romanian Kovacs. He's had a great Champions League season, and this is just more onto it. It's basics of, soccer 101, football 101, is that you wait until the referee's whistle. And because of this, refereeing is an art. It's not a science. We have to let these games flow and see where we can. And he added to the beauty of the game that was here today.
Is it there that you want to challenge? Because we're going to move on to the penalty.
The penalty is which I want to challenge.
Okay, well, let's go to the penalty then. So the next goal in the game was a Real Madrid one. Real Madrid awarded a penalty, which Karim Benzema put away. What were your thoughts on that? Was it a correct decision to give the penalty?
It was a correct decision, and I know exactly where Mike is going to go with this one, and I'm happy for that conversation. Because here, anytime you find yourself in a position where it's very unnatural, your arms are raised where Laporte is in an unjustifiable position, you are taking a risk that this will be called in this specific situation. Laporte is going, he's standing, he's using his arms for going to give him some leverage. However, he distinctively leaves it just hanging out in the middle of the air that much. And at that point, you are taking that risk that this is going to be called, and whether or not that his arms in that unnatural position, making his silhouette bigger, is whether or not it's justifiable here and it's appropriate by the referee to call this, and for the VAR, German VAR Marco Fritz, to say this is a check complaint.
Yep.
We don't leave our arms that high. When you do, you take a risk.
Christina, how is that an unnatural position? Firstly, it's his head, and he's using his arms to jump with Benzema. So I don't understand how that's an unnatural position.
Benzema.
Oh, no.
So we're taking the risk here by leaving our arms out, holding them longer. So you're right, he's jumping, and that's where I know you're going into it. Jumping, arms extending, there's a small deflection off on his head. However, because he allows his arms to stay remained out in the air, he's also really smart. He knows that if that ball goes beyond him, that there might be somebody else on the other end. And like I said, you're taking that risk that in this context of this play, if it's not going across the mouth of the goal here, if it's not potentially landing to the next player, that it could go into the back of the net, it's right there. That one's the one that's definitely going to sell us on that you're keeping your arm up way too high for that to be. And therefore, he is taking that risk, and it's a good call.
Christina, when we're looking at one of the reasons maybe why we're querying it is that I feel sort of in England compared to Europe, it just feels like the bar is so much higher in terms of a handball for a penalty. Now, I think the arm is in an unnatural position, but the fact it hits his head is maybe why we're sort of arguing the point. But it does feel to me like when you're in European competitions or the more European leagues, there's so many more penalties given for handball than there is in England.
I agree with you on that one as well, too. Watching Premier League, they have a higher, we want to say with a higher kind of a threshold. But over here, we're using UEFA training, UEFA teaching, which is closer to where we're at with the FIFA analysis and the FIFA breakdown. And because, once again, like saying in this context, and we always take them specifically in the types of play that they are, I would agree with you that in UEFA, we do give these more often than what I've seen in the Premier League. And that is just because of the types of the individuals who are providing that instruction. And here, UEFA is much more aligned to the instruction that FIFA gives worldwide.
Christina, I've been wondering this since the quarterfinals. Is that Hope Solo behind you? It really looks like her.
No, it is not Hope Solo.
It's Han Solo.
It looks like her. Am I wrong? I'm not wrong. All right, Christina, good to see you. Thank you as always. Appreciate your analysis.
Yeah, you as well.
Analysis, even. Thing of beauty, Benzema penalty, Thierry.
When you're in that zone and in that mood and everything comes off, remember, people forgot, he missed 2 penalties in the league the other day. And usually when people miss penalties, they go in the middle. So if Ederson had done his research, he would have done that, stay in the middle. Because he missed 2 in the league recently. I don't know if you guys know. Back-to-back in the league, he missed 2. So
have you ever gone down the middle with a penalty like that in such a real pressure situation like that?
Real pressure, I mean, at that level, I mean, Champions League, no, because I don't think with Arsenal we had any penalties in Champions League semi-finals and stuff like that. I did it in the league once against Newcastle. We were playing with 10 men, 2-2. I actually chipped it also. I did it 4 times in the league. But no, joking aside, against Newcastle it was a tight game, 2-2. We were playing with 10 men, and I knew it was going to go. So, but I would like to say that when you're in that zone, and also remember, like I just said, he just missed 2 back-to-back in the league. People tend to go in the middle.
Oof. Well, he's keeping Real Madrid alive here.
He's outstanding, by the way.
The Chelsea game as well. Oof. Real Madrid were awful defensively in the last game against Chelsea. You know, his performance and goals again tonight. I mean, right now, the best player in the world, or the best player in the Champions League this season up until now? Thierry? Yeah?
For me, Benzema right now is bailing them out in the Champions League. I mean, in the league, it's a different ball game, as we mentioned. They won it. But if they didn't have him in the Champions League, they wouldn't have passed even the group stage.
Welcome back, everybody, to our studio in London. In the Mixer is still to come in the next segment. Are we ready?
Yes.
We're ready. Good. All right. OK, so Peter Schmeichel, by the way, has been speaking to Pep Guardiola after the game between Manchester City and Real Madrid. Let's take Peter Schmeichel there interviewing Pep Guardiola. That was just a few moments ago. Peter is now back pitch side with Jules Breach. So let's take you back out to the Etihad. There they are. Well, obviously, we know that you enjoyed the game. I guess I'm just interested, kind of final thoughts, especially after speaking to Pep, Peter.
Yeah, it was incredible, wasn't it, Peter? What a game to watch. It was one of those where we just kept looking at each other thinking, what's going to happen next? And that's how we feel now going into the second leg, right?
I still can't believe that this was not like a 6-0 win for Man City. The way they began the match, the chances they created, and Real Madrid, I know I said it before, they were awful in defence, really, really, really bad. And then they have this knack of just coming back into games. We saw it against Chelsea, that were 3-0 down at home. And they just have that. I don't know what it is, but there's something there. It might be me on Man City's players' minds as well, that if we don't take the opportunities, if we make mistakes, they might come. I don't know. But this was one of the crazy games that you really, as a neutral, really, really sit there and just enjoy. It was, and the atmosphere in here today was incredible as well.
It was amazing.
No, it was just one of those games, and I think this will go down. I don't know what's going to happen in the second game, of course, but this will go down, I think, as one of the best semi-finals ever.
How would you feel as the keeper with Benzema scoring a Panenka like that against you?
Yeah, I would probably be very, very, very sad. I wouldn't be happy about that. I mean, to do that and at this time, at the moment in the game, and also with the significance of the possibility of missing it. I mean, we've talked about Benzema in the studio over the last couple of weeks, and he is unbelievable. Sat there watching him, you know, what the cameras don't see, his work rate, what he's doing for his teammates is just incredible to watch.
Well, I'll tell you what, we enjoyed it. It was amazing, but someone else enjoyed it very much so with us. Kate, your dad, Tom, come and join us, Tom.
Tell us
where.
Yes,
it's a long
day for the poor man.
Where did that rank for you, Tom, in terms of live football matches to watch?
One of the best I've ever seen. Absolutely amazing. Terrific.
Well, give us some context. What are the other games that you've seen live, and where would you put that one?
Well, I've seen quite a lot of Champions League football over the years. Manchester United did used to play in the Champions League quite regularly.
Still do.
But Jamie Carragher, don't interrupt, please. We did used to. I've seen some really great games, but I thought that was right up there with the very best. Fabulous.
What about the atmosphere at the Etihad compared to Old Trafford on a Champions League night?
Okay, please.
Yeah, exactly. That's a very unfair question. But I have to say, I thought the atmosphere here actually outdid Old Trafford. I thought it was absolutely amazing.
Wow,
it was terrific.
Tom. I can't believe you've said that.
Were incredible. Well, I just did. It was amazing. Amazing.
I tell you what, I have a question for you. If you had to meet a football great, and you had the choice between Thierry Henry, Jamie Carragher, Micah Richards, or Peter Schmeichel, who would you choose, Dad?
Obviously, Peter Schmeichel.
Buddies,
Sorry, guys.
No,
Tom, could I ask you a question?
Just
Go on.
Obviously, the success City are having now, you've had such a great night there. If it continues the way it is for Manchester United, is there any chance you could actually move clubs? Peter did.
I don't think so, no.
So you're not a turncoat like Mr. Schmeichel?
No, I'll definitely always be a red.
Jamie, less of that, okay? Let's just facts, okay? As your manager used to say. You are an Evertonian, by the way. You know, you've always been an Evertonian.
But they're not in the Champions League.
Is Jamie expecting tomorrow night's game to be as good as this one?
Oh, good question.
I hope it's not. I hope it's 4-0 to Liverpool. I hope it's boring. You're all bored, and we'll see you in Paris.
All right, okay. We're going to run out of time, Dad. It was wonderful to see you. Thank you very much to CBS for giving him that experience. We appreciate you.
It was really nice. Thank you.
Cheers, guys.
Have a good one. Thank you, guys.
Thanks,
Thank you
Tom.
for looking after him.
See you later, Tom.
Thank you.